Hello, this is Shambhavi. Welcome to Satsang. Satsang is an ancient spiritual practice from India. It means being in reality together. I give Satsang live every Wednesday and Sunday night in Portland, Maine. This Dharma talk was recorded during one of our Wednesday night gatherings. Please visit jayakula.org to learn more about the teachings. You can find video satsangs on Jayakula's YouTube channel, and my books are all available on Amazon.com. Much love to you, wherever and however you are. Well, there's a word in Sanskrit, Sat, S-A-T. And you might have heard Satguru, Sat Chidananda. These are common phrases. And a lot of the time when satsangs are being translated, or hymns, or poems, or prayers, or even mantras sometimes, the word sat is translated incorrectly as truth. So these are words that sat actually means. And I'm wondering, when you look at that, when you read that, how do you feel? Read that collection of words. Gives you a good feeling, right? Reading those words. So Sat is talking about God. Right? Talking about existence. If you want to translate it in purely philosophical terms, Sat means existence itself. But then you see it means all these other things that have more to do with a livingness, a living quality, than just some Western philosophical idea of existence. So first of all, existing. Sat means existing. One of the main points that Abhinavagupta wanted to make with respect to other so-called non-dual traditions is that there is no possibility of anything being unreal. So there are some other non-dual traditions in India, and then they got filtered through more popularized works, including Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, where something is considered to be unreal and then something else is considered to be real. Abhinavagupta said that isn't possible for anything to be unreal, because the unreal cannot exist. It's a profound but simple point. There's no point talking about the unreal. The only thing that can exist is existence, things that exist. Only existing things can exist. He loved making points like that. So when we say what exists, that Sat means existing. And it also means existence, that which exists. So your thoughts about reality, no matter how diluted, are actual real thoughts about things. Your experiences, no matter how limited, are actual experiences. Your bodies, no matter how limited in comparison to the unlimited body of God, is a real experience of that body. There's nothing unreal about it. So this is one of two central points that characterize Trika Shaivism. One is that everything is real. Not only is everything real, but there's no possibility of unreality. Just isn't. You can't have that. You can't have what is unreal. And that everything is good. So existing, everything that we experience has existence and is existing. And then this act of existing, right? Sat refers to that act of existing. Whether we're talking about all of reality or just some little portion of it. And then present. Sat also means present. In the sense that existence appears. That existing appears. It's called abhasya in Trika Shaivism. Abhasa, or appearings. And present means that everything appears somehow. It either appears as a body, or it appears as emotions, or it appears as thoughts, or it appears as visions, or it appears as worlds, or it appears as galaxies, or it appears as something. But existence implies present. Something is present, it appears. And so you could say that existence itself is the stage of appearings. There's nothing other than that. We're not, as in some other Indian traditions, trying to get behind appearances and find something that isn't appearing. Everything has to appear. And then being. Well, being is a certain kind of a verb. It's called a gerund. A verb turned into a noun, right? Everything that appears is being. Everything has some duration. Everything has some activity. As Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, everything has to act. And that word being incorporates that. You can't appear and do nothing. Even the act of appearing is doing something. Even doing nothing is doing something. It's in the nature of this existence, this sat, this reality, to appear and to do something. So being is that condition of everything, but to have being, to be, you have to appear and you have to do something. Being anywhere, that refers to the ubiquitousness of existence, of this being quality. Right? That in anywhere, you're going to find it. There is nowhere where that being is not. There is no outside of it. There is no transcendental outside. There is no place where you're going to find some objective view of this being, of this beingness. We have in our Western thinking this idea of objectivity, right? The Germans used to write about it all the time, German philosophers in the 19th century. They called it the Ding an sich. Has anybody ever heard that? Ding an sich. It means the thing in itself. This was like sexy to them. Everyone was looking for the Ding an sich. And everyone was writing about it very fervently. And it meant what you would find if you were able to catch reality without you actually being the seer. So what was reality doing behind your back, actually, was what this was about. As if seeing and experiencing through the filter of a subjectivity and a consciousness were polluting or poisoning reality, right? So the distortion, they thought of it as a distortion. That when we see things through consciousness, it distorts reality as it really is when we're not looking at it, without the distortion of our consciousness. From the perspective of Trika Shaivism, it's exactly the opposite. Because this being is anywhere you look, this being is, and this being is a subjectivity. It has consciousness and self-awareness. So that the entire reality is a subject, is a subjectivity and a subject. And objectivity, that idea that there's some absolute reality, unchanging, that's the thing. And if we could just see it, without actually looking at it, we would discover its real nature. That idea of objectivity is actually a concept and has nothing to do with how things actually are. Right? So it's a concept, and a time-limited concept, I might say, historically time-limited concept, this idea of objectivity. The scientists are realizing that that's not possible. But they still wish that it were. That's, there's this lingering nostalgia for what Western scientific and philosophical traditions call the real. This lingering nostalgia for being able to like see things without having to see them and ruin them with seeing them. Kind of a funny idea, right?
Why do you think that is?
Well, for instance, the problem that they see it as is if you look at that pile of stuff, so the cushion and the blanket, and I look at it, we're seeing something different because your consciousness is different from my consciousness. This is how, but that, according to this way of looking at things, there's actually something there that is the real thing. And if we could see it but not have it be distorted by us looking at it, then we would know what it really was.
There could be a right answer.
There could be a final answer. No lifelines. So, according to Trika Shaivism, this is made of consciousness and energy, just like everything else, and it's looking back at us. In a manner of speaking. So then, Sat, belonging to. This being belongs to everything. Everything that is belongs to it. Somebody wrote the other day, a student, something about, I wish I felt at home here. I've always wanted to feel at home in life, in the world. And I wrote back and I said, if you were born, you belong. It really is that simple. If you appeared, you belong. Of course, feeling that you belong is something quite different. The idea that someone didn't feel that they belonged can't just be wished away with a cute slogan. But it's true. But it is absolutely true that if you showed up, you belong.
So does this consciousness that makes up everything create this feeling of not belonging so that it can enjoy the feeling of belonging?
It enjoys both. Yeah. So think about, there's whole genres of movies about the disaffected outsider. Do you enjoy that kind of movie? Do you? Yeah. There's stories about loners and people who don't fit in and people who don't feel at home and people who have no homes, right?
And we know it's just a story.
Yeah, well, so does God.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We make stories because that's what God does. Mm-hmm. So basically, we're engaged in one big play, literally playful, and like a drama. Mm-hmm. Hmm. So then, enduring and lasting, that which endures. When we have contact with Sat, when we have contact with the primordial existence, with our primordial being, we lose all fear of impermanence. We can just enjoy impermanence. We only get all exercised about impermanence when we actually think we're going to die. When we actually think anything could be lost. This is, the thing in Buddhist traditions with the relative versus the absolute teachings. I wrote this funny blog post a while back, at least I thought it was funny, about, what's the big deal about impermanence? Because I really actually never got why that was such a big deal. Like, in first level, first teachings of Buddhism, you're all supposed to realize impermanence, supposed to realize that everything's impermanent. I mean, to my mind, it's like, we didn't already know that already? But then I wondered in this blog post if worrying about impermanence was a guy thing. I thought that was very funny. And of course it's not, because everybody's afraid of dying, guys and gals. And nobody likes things to go away or fall apart before you're ready for them to fall apart, right? That's really the problem with impermanence, is that we get used to things and then we don't want them to leave, including ourselves. Remember the old character of Data on Star Trek? Somebody is going away, he's become close to somebody, he's become friends with somebody, and she says, well, are you going to miss me? And he thinks, and he says, well, let me just say that my data pathways have become used to your data pathways. Or something like that. I don't remember exactly. I know, it makes no sense, Bodhi. You're absolutely right. So if we know that Sat is existing and existence, it is present and it is the appearings that are present. It is being anywhere, it is belonging to, it is enduring and lasting. It is being itself. And it includes everything. It includes everything. There's nothing outside of it. And so everything without exception is actual, real, genuine, and good. Even our contrivances are real contrivances. Right? They have a real flavor of artificiality. Seriously. When we realize that our contrivances are the real expressions of God, our limitations are the real expressions of God. Just like if a painter makes marks on a canvas, they are real marks on a canvas. You don't go up to a painting of a farmhouse, let's say, and say, "That's not a real farmhouse. I'm out of this museum. This sucks." But, that's what those who go on and on about things being unreal are going on about. Your contrivances, your limitations, are your misperceptions, your mistakes, your delusions, your illusions and projections, your outright lies. They are all real strokes, real expressions of God. Just like paint on a canvas. Mm-hmm. And as they are made of enlightened consciousness and energy, they are good. There's an inherent goodness to it all. And we can discover that in ourselves. I was surprised to see that the last word in this list, I just put them in the order that they appeared. I was really surprised to see that the last word was good. Right? That Sat also means good. Right? So if you think of all the things that you think are wrong with you as, master strokes by a master artist. And even all of your pains that you take to get out of your fixations and your limitations are even just more strokes. Right? That is just this existence, this Sat, showing up as someone struggling with their so-called problems. Having that experience, right? And it's all made out of goodness and sweet taste and intelligence and creativity and curiosity and mercy and compassion and all those juicy things. All of it. That's why on his deathbed, the 17th Karmapa said nothing ever happens. If we go to the theater and we see a play about someone who commits suicide, let's say, we don't think that that actually happened. We know that that was just a part that was being played. We don't expect to see a story about it in the newspaper the next morning. In the same sense that we are all made of consciousness and energy, think of consciousness and energy as the paint with which all of this is being painted. In that sense, nothing ever happens. And when you realize this, that all phenomena are just that, not just that because it's magnificent, but just that in terms of our normal attachment to things as if they were something other than these divine expressions of creativity and self-exploration. What do we do with the work of art? We contemplate it. Why do we contemplate works of art? To understand our nature better. Why do we even go to the theater? Or look at a painting, or listen to music, or make them ourselves. On one level, we are contemplating human nature, right? We're contemplating our capacities, and contemplation is not necessarily thinking about something. Contemplation is a more sort of total body situation. It includes enjoyment. We're just sort of enjoying and contemplating, right? So this is what the Supreme Self is doing with the entire reality. Being in a state of contemplation and enjoyment of its own creativity. We can still play our roles in relative life, but we have to remember what Sat actually is. This idea that we're going to arrive at truth, which is how some people translate this word, is a very moralistic word. Right? Something is going to be true and something else is not going to be true. But the fact is that reality is not true or false or right or wrong. It's just genuine. It's just real. It's expressive. Every painting is a genuine painting. Every painting is a real painting. It doesn't matter if it's a paint-on velvet doggy or a masterpiece in the Louvre. It doesn't matter. It's still a real painting. On that level, all paintings are equal. So I'm going to stop there. That's Sat. It's a very good word to understand. Jayakula is a nonprofit community offering opportunities to learn and practice in the direct realization traditions of Trika Shaivism and Dzogchen. We are based in Portland, Maine and Portland, Oregon. Visit jayakula.org to explore more of our offerings.